Oh, my name is Tapiwa Samanga. I'm the Group CEO of the Production Technologies Association of South Africa. The Production Technologies Association of South Africa is an association of companies that are in the tool, die, mold, special machining and assembly systems. Usually the issue is, what is tooling? And that is something that would want people to know. Tooling is the way you make things. And we actually say, if there is no tooling, there is no manufacturing. So in simple terms, we would say tooling, in tooling, we make things that make things. Sometimes we actually make things that make things that make things. It depends on how deep you want to go. So everything that we have around you, your car, your water bottle, your shoe, your gadget that you use, a tool was actually made, was used to make it. In a sense, if you want to be a bit complicated, tooling is the industrialization of innovation. So we could make your car from hammering pieces of metal. We probably could make one car in 3 years. But if we use tooling techniques and the system that we've actually put in place, you can roll out thousands of cars from a plant every day. And that's the advantage that you actually get from tooling. The association itself, PtSA, started, let's say, in the organized form that it is at the moment, around 2005. That's when individual members in the tool, die and mold industry in South Africa came together so that there could be an organized lobby and an advocate group to actually push for the interests of the tool, die and mold sector in South Africa. And at that point, it was becoming apparent that the manufacturing contribution to GDP of South Africa was going down. A few years before that, 2005, we were probably around 18 to 20%. And then it was just on a downward slope. We are now pegged between 10 to 13%. So industry got together, had a discussion with government and say, part of the challenge is that we have neglected the tool, die and mold sector because it is at the core of manufacturing. So I would say the current life of the organization actually can be traced to around 2005. And that's when we actually started the programs that you have, what you see around you. It started from 2005. So this current life and this current dispensation, we can trace it back to 2005. So we've got PtSA, which is the association. And then we've got a project management company, which executes programs that the association actually has. So the association PtSA is an NPC. Then we've got a special purpose vehicle that we have. It's called Insimbi National Tooling Initiative. So the Insimbi National Tooling Initiative is actually what is implementing these programs that you have around you. It is a housing whereby we have sort of funded support from different sources, mainly from government, from the Department of Trade and Industry. So by and large, what might be visible to the public is the training programs that we do, the enterprise development programs that we do, but primarily we are about the wholeness of the tool, die and mold sector. Let me start with the enterprise development. We have worked with companies that have transformed right before our eyes. So as a country, we have lost capacity, I would say, in making molds, small molds, like the mold that makes your water bottle. We've lost capacity on that. We've lost capacity to make what we call press tools, the sort of thing that makes the bonnet for your car, the doors. We've lost that. But we have actually done very well in assembly systems. What are assembly systems? Those are the things that put things together. So whilst we don't have the tools that make your bonnet, but we have got competent companies in South Africa, some of them can actually rank in the top 10 in the world, that puts together your car. So through the work that we have actually done with companies that we have actually assisted that have become global in terms of assembly system. The second area also is around packaging, with companies that we have worked with that made tool rooms or tooling the center of their enterprises. They have actually done well. We have seen them grow. We've seen them grow their capacity. We've seen them grow their exports. But end of day, export is the best measure of whether you are doing well or not. Then on the skills development program, that one really is one that touches us. In the dispensation that came, or let's say in the older dispensation, tooling was not known. Even now, people don't know about tooling. Of the students that we have on the ground, generally, 95% of them plus have never heard about tooling, even when they come in. Even the time they finish, I always ask them, what are you telling your parents that we do? Says, no, we just tell them we're doing mechanics. That's something that they understand. So this is a trade that was hidden to the broader part of the population. You probably assume that, oh, maybe to the white folks, it was also not. We have actually established that about 70% of people, people from the white, race group also have no idea what tooling is. So this was something that was never known to our people. Yet it is actually the critical part of manufacturing. So we have, over the past 15 years now, because we started training tool makers in 2010 with 175 students that we picked up. And we picked them up from very humble beginnings. We picked up students from Hammanskraal. We picked up people from Kwandebele, Attridgeville. Some of them, when they joined, they thought they were going to become call center operators because they didn't know what tooling is all about. But if you look at what they are doing now, those from the earlier cohorts, they are now supervisors, they are now engineers. They are starting to move into management in different places. There is no OEM that you are going to go into now that within the OEM itself or its first tier or second tier, you don't see our people. That's in the automotive sector. So if you are driving a South African assembled car or a South African made car, make sure that at some point in its development or in its manufacture, it has passed through the hands of our people. You can go into any OEM plant now, you'll actually see our people there. And we are quite proud of that. We estimate that over 150 of our graduates are in those places. But then let's talk about the quality of the training. Because you remember we said we went back and said we need to improve the training. It needs to meet some certain global benchmarks. So we teamed up with partners from America, partners from Germany, to make sure that the tool maker that we train in South Africa can actually stand their own compared to other jurisdictions around the world. We think we have actually done that. We're actually in a situation whereby even countries that helped us are now actually looking to us to actually say, how can we work together to implement what we have done here? So without probably putting much thought to it, we have transformed the tooling sector in South Africa. I used to say in 2010, give me a black tool maker, I'll give you my salary. Give me a black female one, I'll give you 2 months of my salary. I kept my money. That's how we have defined this. And of course, the latest thing is another thing. We rarely had black female tool makers. I actually hazard a guess that the way we are training here, you probably won't find another institution in sub-Saharan Africa that actually does this. So we are quite proud of what we have done. We have moved the needle, even in terms of age. When we did our study in 2005, the outcome was that we have about 4,500 to 5,000 tool makers in South Africa. Average age 55, most of them white males. We think, and this needs to be verified, we think if we had not intervened, that number would have maybe now been, the average age would have been between 70 and 72. We think we've pushed back that average age to about 40, 42. And it's something that we're quite proud of. Because we are industry, we're not a training service provider. We are industry, which means we are carefully selecting students that come to train with us. And as I look at a student coming in, I'm actually looking at somebody who is on our shop floor. So I'm not looking at a student. I'm looking at somebody who's going to be on our shop floor. I'm looking at somebody who is going to be in the boardroom in 20 years. I'm looking at somebody who's going to design the next African car. Yeah. So we go through that very careful selection. So in the end, when we are done, about 95, 96% of our students, by the time they finish, they actually have jobs. On the floor now, probably you will see some of them. We've got a cohort that came in 2021. They're starting to finish now and go out. Some of the girls that you saw right at the beginning, they're actually they are now finishing and going out. They will finish around October, November, December, but more than 50% of them already now have got job offers. Because what we do, we finish, so before they even have what we call a trade test, which is almost like the certificate, they've got jobs. And this is the same around the country. It's not just here in Gauteng. In most places around our 4 centers, people will have jobs. How does that happen? One, it is actually the quality of the training. Secondly, it's about how we build a person. There is more that we do besides just training. We get you as an individual. When we select, we check your attributes. Are you somebody that can actually survive and love this sector? And then we work on you. We clean up your basics, your maths, your science, your business, English. We've got social workers around the place. You probably see them. We work on you as a person, build your confidence. Because most of these places, I mean, I've told you that we're picking up people from different backgrounds, some of them seriously disadvantaged backgrounds. You come here, you've never seen a machine before. You've never spoken English continuously with mates. It's a challenging environment. So we are actually interested in building the individual. So what we end up with is actually an individual who is globally competitive, can do anything in their trade, which is different from what we had in the past. So most of the time we're actually delivering a product that is plug and play in industry. With the latest technology, if you check the machines that are around us, we are trying to mirror what is at the frontier of technology in 2 rooms, not only in South Africa, but actually across the world. PtSA is here. We are going to make sure that every street in Mamelodi, in Attridgeville, knows what tool making is. That the kids in Mamelodi, when they see Silverton, they don't just admire a Ford Ranger or an Amarok. They actually understand how it is made. And that their desire is not just to drive it, but to make it. That's the sort of thing that we want. And then in the next 10 years, this challenge is not just for South Africa. We are working with other African countries around us. We know that in SADC, for instance, only Zimbabwe and South Africa were training tool makers. The rest, nothing. You will go into these countries, you won't see a single indigenous, locally trained toolmaker. On the floor now, you will see some students from Zambia. We're training 16 students from Zambia. We have helped and worked with Zambia to develop and register a new curriculum. And part of that is training students here. The plan is that next year, 2026 or 2027, they'll start training toolmakers in their own countries. We're working with Zimbabwe, we're working with Uganda. What we want to do, and we've always said, what we want to do is for the continent to understand that for us to industrialize, for us to improve our manufacturing, tooling is where we start. I'm currently, I told you that we are part of the international organization around tooling. I'm a vice president of that organization and a board member, and I'm the one who is responsible for Africa. So PtSA, and for me that's personal, we want Africa to know that without tooling, we will not go anywhere. What has actually happened is the world has never seen African innovation in product. Everything that is around you is the imagination that has come from elsewhere. So we might be making cars here, but they were not designed here. Nobody has ever figured out how an African feels about mobility. We have not contributed so much to that. And it gives the impression that we are not artistic, we are not innovative. That has to go. So in the next 10 years, we want to be part of an African car, hopefully in South Africa.